Oloram Baljote Thur Narvore. Welcome to our podcast. Today's topic is going to be survival and what we would want you to carry or have with you. Uh, Anywhere from basic survival camping gear all the way up to your bug out bag. Pretty much anything for survival. We do not have a language lesson today, so any language we do is just going to be on the seat of our pants and words we may want to know. For instance, Koyan Barare is survival and education, and I believe San Namore and Caber, they've been talking before we started on what they would recommend having for survival, so take it away, guys.
Yeah, we were just going over some. I was looking at some just pre-made bug out bats for ideas to have as an idea when building your survival bag, and general minimum you'd want to prep for is 72 hours. Would that be correct, Kabur?
I know I would personally want 48 to 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, I generally say 72 hours worth of calories to keep in your bag. That usually is the minimum, like 72 hours, because you figure if something goes down on day one, it's not necessarily going to be a full day kind of deal. 72 hours is a good rounded time frame to plan for like your bug out bag, that kind of thing. Generally speaking, like that. 48 to 72. 72 is just usually like most of your, like you see your, like the military guys use assault packs, and they're usually get put around a 72-hour outing. Just as a general, that gives you, if you're only out for 24 hours, say you break down on the side of the road, you've got your bag, you've got enough food that'll last you 3 days, but you're not going to be stuck out there for 3 days. Kind of deal. 72 hours is just a well-rounded time frame to plan for, because it's not excessive, but it's enough for most situations.
Yeah, the way I see it is it's going to take minimum, if you're in a survival situation waiting for rescue, it's going to take a minimum 24 hours for rescue to even be advised, should you not be the one making the contact for rescue assistance, to even start getting notified that, hey, you're in need of help.
Yeah. Like I said, in that 72 hours, you're not necessarily, like, if you're going out hiking out in, like, say, in the Appalachian Mountains, you're probably going to want to plan for a little bit longer than 72 hours, because, like he said, it could be 24 hours before somebody even gets contacted that, you're in need of help, and it could take them 2 or 3 days to get to you, depending on where you're at. So, but like in the general sense, 72 hours is a good starting point, like I said, because in most situations that you're going to face on a more regular basis, it's a cushion of enough, but not too much. And if you start carrying too much, ounces becomes pounds, and pounds becomes pain. So the heavier your pack is, the more calories you're going to expend moving with it and carrying it, and which is going to shorten the time frame that you're going to be able to function at peak. Now, like when it comes to that, like I don't ever carry bottled water or anything like that in any of my packs. I have a 3-liter hydration bladder with a Sawyer filter on it, because then, if need be, like I have cases of water in my car simply because of my job. I drink a case of water a week at least, especially in the summertime. Like right now it's like 75 degrees and I'm melting in the back of my van. But that filter allows you to get water from pretty much any source and fill up your bladder, and that filter filters out all the crap that's in it, like 99.9%. The Sawyers, and they're only $20. And I cut the tube for the hydration bladder and stick it right there in line. So I just take the bladder, dip it in, fill it up, close it, and I drink right from there. Because again, ounces become pounds, pounds become weight. You start carrying around 3 gallons of water on your back at 8.4 pounds per gallon. That's 24 pounds you're carrying on your back just in your water. That's not including anything else. So yeah, that's why I run the filter. So that saves on weight that I have to carry.
Yeah, and speaking of like weight and water and all that, another thing to keep in mind with your survival gear is, what is it, the rule of 7 or 5? For it's like food can go without food for so long, water without so long, and shelter for so long.
I think it's 7 days without food, 5 without water.
And then the need for shelter was like...
Let me...
3. It's 3. It's like 3, 5, 7.
Oh yeah, 3, 5, 7. Yeah, 3 days without shelter, 5 days without water, and 7 days without food. So
yeah, because exposure will kill you really fast, even if you've got plenty of food and water. If you've got nothing to shelter you from extreme heat or cold, you're done for.
Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the idea of what we're going to be talking about to add to the packs for survival, is things to mediate and help with those 3 situations being the key parts, but a few others as well. To get started, I'm going to just... What I'm going to just talk about right now is just a one-person kind of bug-out bag-ish, or survival 72-hour bag. Of course, one thing to keep in mind is a source of water. So as Vod Kabur has said, he's got a water bladder, camel pack, hydration system that, in my opinion, is a really good idea, especially if you can get one with a really good filter on it, that you can add water from like a creek or something to it as you're moving. That's able to filter out any impurities and whatnot to near 100%. Having some iodine tablets or purifying tablets are good to carry as well for those situations.
I actually just found something that I want to add in to this bag. So I'm just, for shits and giggles, or Mandoa Osik Bal Nuhunar. There's one of your language lessons for today. Laughing shit. Nuhunar Bal Osik. There's a electric portable water filter with a 0.0 micron 6-stage water filtration system on Amazon for about $70. And it basically works like a transfer pump, with one side going into the creek, the other side going into your drinking system, which will filter out any contaminants. And I'll share a link into the survival channel for it. Definitely. It also has a USB charger on it, so I'm guessing it's some kind of solar charging. Got a 20-minute filtered water volume, which is about 12 liters, 405 ounces. It's got a pump mode for about 550 to 700 milliliters a minute. A slow sewage mode for about 400 to 500 milliliter a minute. 4 light LED indicator. I'm guessing that's going to be its charge, anywhere from 0 to 100% charge, like most LED light tools these days have 4 lights.
Yeah, it sounds cool. When it comes to survival stuff like this, technology is going to be your downfall.
That is true.
It is definitely useful and interesting to, like, a bigger kit that maybe you put at a predetermined like bug out location. Like say you get a campsite that is somewhere on a family member's property or something like that, that you can keep it there and use it in a more permanent thing. But like for your bug out, you're going to want as little electronics as possible. You want to go as primitive and basic as you can, because the technology is going to give you problems in a survival situation. I mean, aside from a flashlight, obviously a flashlight, if you can get a cool little USB rechargeable flashlight, like I have a Streamlight micro rechargeable that I keep a solar powered battery pack in my bag. I keep that flashlight in my bag with me when I'm at work. That if I need to, I can recharge it from that. But it's a flashlight. I mean, with a flashlight, the worst it's going to be is a flashlight, and you're not going to have light. You're going to have to make a torch or something. But like something that requires electronics for your water filtration and stuff like that, you're not going to want to have that on your person. You're going to want to go the old-fashioned manual route.
Yeah, as far as electronics go, my recommendation is flashlight, a decent one, not your cheap rinky-dink $5-10 one. You just want to invest a pretty decent amount, either flashlight or headlamp. If it's rechargeable, cool, and a portable hand crank radio would be really the only electronics that I would recommend having in a survival kit or bug out bag.
Yeah, because like I said, electronics are just going to cause you problems in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from, like you said, the flashlight and the radio is good for, say you had a storm area and everything's out. You've got that little hand crank radio. You can listen to the news and figure out what's going on, that kind of deal. But anything else is just adding to your headache of the whole thing.
But yeah, they have filters that are like straws almost that you can get there, and they last a good while. Like
life straws.
I've seen some that are like able to filter like 100 gallons of water or something like that. Like it's a high, maybe not 100 gallons, but it's a high good amount of able to last you like a week or two of water usage.
Yeah, Life Straws and the Sawyer filters, you can get them both for roughly $20-30 from different places. They're actually rated to 100,000 gallons. And I don't know if the Life Straws are back flushable, but I know the Sawyers, if you get clean water, you can run it backwards through the filter to clean it out and keep using it. If it should start to get plugged or build up, you see a decrease in the flow coming out of it. Yeah, you can back flush it and clean it out. And like I said, they're rated for 100,000 gallons, which is lots and lots of drinking water.
Mm-hmm. That could easily outlast you, like just one person, like a month, easy, maybe two, depending on how much water you're sucking down. But yeah, water bladder or a good canteen of sorts would definitely be a good thing to have for water storage on you. Something not too big or bulky, but something that's going to be durable to last is what you're going to want for a survival situation.
Yeah, go to your military surplus and get their military canteens. They usually come with the case that goes around them and a metal canteen cup that you can use for boiling.
Funny enough, speaking of boiling water, real quick, this popped into my head. If you take a plastic bottle and fill it with water, you can actually boil the water inside by sticking it next to a fire, and the plastic will actually not melt. Funny enough.
Yeah, no, the plastic won't melt. However, it will leach some of the chemicals into it.
Yeah. So keep that's something to keep in mind. If you get like the BPS free plastic bottles or whatever that's out there now, not recommended to boil your water that way, but
You're in a survival situation.
last ditch situation, don't have any other choice. Kind of have to make do with what you got.
Yeah,
Um,
like it'll get you through, but I wouldn't do that long term by
yeah,
any means.
yeah, most definitely not. Another thing, stagnant water, avoid.
Oh yeah,
If you
Running
come
water
across
is your friend.
running water is your friend, but do keep in mind, animals, they don't care where they relieve themselves, so
And
uh,
people.
that too. Um,
Not hunters will piss in the stream too.
mhm. That's why
Maybe
you,
not maybe not defecate in it, but
uh, but yeah, that's why I get something like the purifying tablets that are out there, or like iodine drops that help semi clean the water before you drink it.
I mean, not to mention this is literally the fish's home and bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You can also keep a little bit of bleach. It's like
Mm.
8 drops per gallon of bleach is enough to disinfect the water, and so you get a tiny bit of it. Maybe get a tiny bit of bleach um, flavor, I guess, for lack of better terms,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough that it's going to be
Lethal.
detrimental to you. Yeah. So
And
I mean, like I have old. I used to vape, so I kept the old vape juice bottles, which was propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin,
mm-hmm.
and I cleaned them out real good, and I filled one because they've got the droppers in them, and
Mm-hmm.
they're a glass bottle, so they're pretty durable.
It makes a nice, good, consistent
Yep,
drop.
little. Yep. And I got one of that with bleach. I've got one with rubbing alcohol in it as well,
Oh,
um,
nice.
for antiseptic purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read out this
Oh, that's a nice little molly bag.
supposed to be 250 pieces, but some of this is just like they're advertising it as a survival bag and just throwing shit in there.
Mm-hmm.
So the bag is about an 8-inch tall by 7-inch deep and 6.5-inch wide,
It's a
and
good
it's
amount
got
of yeah, it's a good amount of room for a small little camping.
got your 4-in-1 e-tool, your foldable knife, which you're probably gonna have more than one of those on you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a 15-in-1 folding axe, which has got a knife, a Phillips screwdriver, a small wood saw, like pocket knife size saw, a assorted hex wrench with a slotted, I'm guessing it's a flathead on the end of that, a
Mm-hmm.
fish descaler, a file on the side of this descaler, a bottle opener, which looks like it's on the hex wrench,
Mm-hmm.
a tail lock, so you can hang it off of something, I guess.
I think that's for the plier handle.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't made it to that part yet. A
I mean,
spring
it looks
lock
like
for
you could
tail.
also use it to hang.
Yeah, I see where it can lock into the pliers right there.
Mm-hmm.
So going into the top part of it, you've got the spring for the pliers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, that spring makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is for the pliers to give the reverse
You've
resistance
got
to
a
open.
wire cutter. Why are you going to need a wire cutter?
Scissors of sorts.
Put a pair of scissors in your survival kit then. I mean, you have a good Swiss Army knife. It's going to have all that stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather have a full size axe or what was the
Yeah,
term?
this looks like more of like a miniature hatchet.
Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking that pocket knife is probably going to be what 3 inches,
No more. No more than that.
so this thing is probably 6 inches long with everything folded into it.
Yeah, it
So
literally looks like the handle would fit one-handed.
that hatchet blade is not going to be more than 2 to 3 inches. You're not going to be cutting something very efficiently with that.
Mm-hmm.
Personal opinion on that. And then we move into more stuff that I would actually want to put in, like the flashlight, the
Mm-hmm.
emergency tent, an emergency blanket, your camping light. Again, that's going to be your flashlight, but you got to make sure that's charged.
Mm-hmm.
A tactical defense pen. The pen, yeah, just put a pencil in there. Why does it have to be a tactical defense pen?
Well, I mean, the thing about a tack pen is it's got a glass breaker. It's able to
Yeah,
be used for self-defense because, I mean, that to any part of the body is going to be very painful.
but this thing's going to be in your bag.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing about most of the stuff that's in that one, from what I've heard, is it's all gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says, "Oh,
That's what it looks
tactical
like.
this, survival that." It's not
It's
even remotely useful in general in most situations.
Mm-hmm. That
Like you've
paracord
got
bracelet
the
there. That paracord bracelet there is actually pretty
yeah,
good. It's got a compass, whistle, fire striker.
and you've got, depending on how big that is, I think most of them are about 6 inches, so you're gonna have about 6 to 7 feet of paracord there.
Mm-hmm.
If that's actual paracord, if that's actual 550 cord, that could be a good bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the knockoff paracord,
It's good for
I
what?
don't know how much I'd trust that.
Be good for about what, 50 to 100 pounds at most.
If it's the knockoff one, maybe.
Yeah.
If it's the actual 550 cord, you're looking at about 500 to 600 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, most of that you're going to use, say, for like a ridge line, if putting up a tarp for a shelter.
Yeah.
A quick little bear bag kind of deal. But then even like the cheap knockoff paracord that's not 550, you can pull the inner strands out and use it as fire starter too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if they put that in there. If they gutted it, it's going to be useless. You've got this little saber card, which is the same thing as that damn 25 kit axe, knife, Swiss Army thing. So that's redundant.
I'll be honest, that saber card, no, not highly advise against that being in a survival kit. That's a waste of space. Even though it's small and compact, it's useless.
Size of a credit card, but it's just like, why the shab do I want this in there?
Yeah, there is no real use from a survival
This
situation.
in there, this 15-in-1 multi-functioning axe that had all of that in there anyways.
Yeah.
Stop putting the gimmick stuff in here. The fire starter, that's a good thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
Your starting sticks, good thing to have. A whistle, good thing to have. Saber card, throw that in the trash. Don't buy that.
That knife there on that last one. That knife. For those who can't see it, it's a bottle opener, fish spear knife, fish scale remover, rope hole, spoon, spork, 7-in-1 multi-tool. In a camping in your regular everyday camping setting, sure, cool, by all means. Survival, this is trash.
Almost with the exception of the spoon, the 7-in-1 spoon, and the saber card, I would keep the other 4 items in it.
Yeah, the other 4 items.
Cord, because it can be used to hang stuff up. The whistle, the fire starting sticks, and the fire starter.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Keep them.
Those are good.
Use spoon. Throw that shit in the trash.
Yeah, fingers work much better.
Yes.
The survival situation, just use your fingers. A wire saw.
Hell yes.
For small
timber, yeah, that's great in cutting that up.
Mm-hmm.
In the field, everything is finger food.
Yep.
Yes. Your tactical D-ring carbiners, again, I would keep that in there just for use with the paracord bracelet.
Mm-hmm. And make sure it's a good
You're not going to be
quality
using
one.
this to climb with. I wouldn't trust those for climbing.
Those ones specifically, no. But a good carabiner, I would definitely say
Yeah.
yes to having a couple
I
good
mean,
carabiners.
as it's being advertised in these pictures, they're showing that they're rated for climbing.
I
I
believe
would.
that's I
I'm
believe that's
sorry.
the one. I believe that's the one on the far right one because that's the style that would be used for
Yeah, oh
climbing
no, I would
purposes.
definitely not use those left two.
No, those ones are definitely for pack holding.
That far right one, it might be. My fat ass, probably not. Then your waterproof phone pouch.
Trash it.
It could go either way for me. There's going to be better waterproofing ideas, but as a basic one, at least it shows that it floats.
Mm-hmm.
Your light sticks.
A couple glow
I don't know
sticks would be
about you, but
good.
I've never been able to see shit with those. Never.
Depending on the kind of glow stick you get, it's more so for others to spot you
And that
than
was
it
my
is.
other idea. Was
Yeah,
like, okay, I might be able to see not shit with it, but maybe someone could see. It's like, what's that green light over there? What's that red?
Glow,
exactly.
glow sticks are trash. Chem lights are the bomb.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, but not everyone can get their hand on chem
You're
lights.
moving on to the next item. Your compass. That's a good thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this one that they've got in here. Just get a basic north-south 360-degree compass.
I've actually used that compass. It's actually fairly decent for better than nothing.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, I did orienteering in ROTC for
But is it a
4 years.
lensatic or is it one of the clear ones for on the map?
Uh,
The clear one that you can set down on a square grid.
mhm.
Oh yeah, those are decent if you've got a map, and I mean for general direction finding. But if you're trying to shoot bearings and stuff, they're not as great.
Yeah,
I get one of the folding compasses for that because it's got that nice little
slot and everything.
window.
Yeah, it's called a lensatic compass.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of those.
That's the bare minimum I would recommend. If you can get your hands on one of those, definitely go for it.
Yeah, military surplus. They have them for like $5 or $6
Yeah.
with a little pouch.
All right. So then we've got a water bottle buckle. That
No.
definitely seems a bit gimmicky for me. Because if you're going to have a filtration system and a water supply, you're going to be wanting something bigger than just a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going out camping or survivalist training for a few days, you're not going to have just a water bottle.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to do Bear Grylls, bare bones survival.
Even then.
Yeah, even then, why are you going to have a water bottle buckle?
This is good for camping. Like if you're out camping, by all means go for it. But survival situation, no. That not to mention, it actually looks kind of cheap to me.
It really does. It looks like the water bottle's actually going to fall out of it more than it's going to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got your fishing tool kit that comes with it.
Yeah, a small little fishing kit wouldn't be a bad thing to have.
Make sure that you have something to keep this in and not just free floating.
Oh, of course.
A
small little tackle box.
Actually, it doesn't look like there's a tackle box for these.
Altoid tins work great for that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Altoid tins. I can go on and on about survival things to go that you could use an Altoid tin for. I can go.
So in other words, your survival
with
kit is probably just full of Altoid tins, isn't it?
When I actually get around to fully making, I've got it planned out, but when I actually get around to having the finances, yes, Altoid tins.
So you probably have a closet
godsend.
supply of Altoid tins, is what I'm hearing.
No, sadly I do not.
Not yet.
But not exactly, not yet.
All right, so next to that, we've got about 32, 33 feet of parachute cord. Again, if that's actually 550 cord, perfect. If it's the knockoff paracord, You'll at least still be able to hang stuff with it.
Yeah, shelter, small things, kind of
And
situations.
then
Yeah,
you've got one of these trash bag raincoat looking things.
I good for a one-time kind of
Yeah, one
use.
time use only.
I would say definitely invest in something more durable. Military surplus stores got plenty of them for what, like 15, $20
I actually need to go find me a new one.
at
And then you've
most.
got your first aid kit.
Yeah, you can get them for a decent poncho. I mean, you're not going to get the whoopee and everything included by any
Mm-hmm.
means for that much, because whoopies by themselves are like $60 because everybody wants a whoopee.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
But
a
you can get a
blue.
basic canvas poncho for 20, $30 maybe.
I'm trying to remember
And then
where my
you've got
dad's.
your basic first aid kit. You've got some bobby pins, scissors, gloves, tweezers, an assortment of band aids. Looks like maybe some gauze.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had a
Wound
tourniquet
pad.
yet.
Well, this is your basic first aid kit. Nothing too
Yeah,
severe.
no,
Like
that's
something
literally
more
just
so
something you
scrapes and
find in the back
bruises.
of your car.
It's a boo boo kit.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a boo
boo boo
boo
kit.
kit,
It's
not
a
a
boo
first
boo
aid
kit.
kit. That's a
It's a
boo
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 kit.
kit. That those scissors I would definitely upgrade to.
Yeah, I would get
All the stupid plastic orange shears.
Mm-hmm.
those might cut the first aid tape.
Yeah,
If
that's about it.
maybe
Well, they'll cut clothes and stuff like that one time. You get one use out of them, and then you're pitching them.
you might get one slice out of them.
Mm-hmm. As we
So
said
those,
it, as we said in our first
upgrade those scissors to a
trauma shears,
EMS EMT pair,
$5 Amazon.
right? So
Not sponsored.
not at all. we
One thing that speaking of like the fishing tackle and everything, is having some emergency rations wouldn't be a is
honestly,
something
I
to
would
have.
say an MRE or two.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the whole case, but
Even if you can get, even if you can get the small little brick packs, may not taste good, but if you're trying to survive, taste
you
goes
don't
out
care
the
about
window. Taste goes out the window when
as long
you're
as you
trying
don't have the
to.
veggie omelet, you can eat it.
Oh god, the veggie omelet. I will say, if you do get the military MREs, the cheese will stop you up, which could be a good thing.
Even if you're lactose intolerant, yeah, that cheese will stop you up.
Mm-hmm.
Parmesan and Vienna sausage. I don't know if I said that right.
Ooh, those are good ones.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good one.
They may not taste good, but they'll get you your protein and stuff.
Your daily calories. But yeah, even if you can't get your hands on MREs, just a small a pack of emergency rations can come in like your typical sci-fi little square brick, little Rice Krispie looking thing.
Oh, you mean those travel cakes that
Mm-hmm.
what's his face was eating? That came from China.
Mm-hmm. They're good for what they're meant to do.
Give you enough ration to live.
Mm-hmm. It'll get you your daily necessity. Another thing to keep in mind is a good emergency shelter, a tent, solar tent of some sort,
I was actually just looking at some of those. Hold on.
is good to have, even if it's a one person kind
I
of
found a 1 to 2
situation.
person, and it was on Amazon, but I gotta find it again.
I've seen them go for like $10-15. They're disposable usually, so may want to, depending on the size of them, pack 2 or 3.
Yeah, you can also make an oilcloth tarp.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They're very durable, very light, and they're easy to make. I mean, they're not cheap to buy an actual oilcloth tarp, but you get 100% cotton sheet, and in a bucket, 50-50 boiled linseed oil, and mineral spirits, completely saturate the sheet, and then open it up and let it air dry, and it becomes completely, the mineral spirits evaporate off, leaving the linseed oil impregnated into the cotton fabric, and it makes it a waterproof tarp, and it takes up a very little space. You can roll it up real tiny, and then use the paracord for like a ridge line or sticks or whatever to make a shelter.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a really good one you got there, Vodkatus.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're looking at the screen still, I found a Go Time company. They've got a Gear Life tent, emergency survival shelter, a two-person tent,
Mm-hmm.
uses emergency shelter, tube tent, survival tarp, includes a whistle and paracord. Again, if it's actually 550, that's great. Otherwise, it's probably going to be probably just going to be a cord to go from a tree to another tree and hold the top of this tent up.
Mm-hmm. And for $40, it's not a bad price.
It's actually
Especially
two. That's a
oh,
two
that's a
pack.
2-pack. Oh, okay. So yeah, 22. Oh yeah, 22 for just one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they look reusable.
could be.
Potentially reusable.
It's polyethylene, nylon, and tarp. So yeah, it
Yeah,
could be reusable.
if you have it set up in an area for not traveling too much.
They
Because one thing,
advertise it as being able to fit in a stuff sack, which is
As long as it doesn't get snagged.
3 and a
as
quarter
small
inches.
as a soda can.
That's about what it looks like.
50 feet
I mean,
arrive
that's
at
what
the
it says right
destination.
there.
Arrive at the destination on your right.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get snagged, because polyethylene is essentially
Mm-hmm.
a grocery bag.
Yeah.
Your grocery bags are HDPE, which is high density polyethylene, and some of them are even LD, low density, and they snag and stretch real easy. So if it's depending on how thick and whether the whole thing is a combo of polyethylene and nylon, or if the main body is polyethylene and the little attachment points and anchor points are nylon, it could be one use if it gets, I mean, garbage if you get it snagged and get a hole, because good luck trying to fix that.
Right. So yeah, soda can is just under 5 inches. So yeah, this is about soda can size bag.
That's actually a good space saver too.
Really, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for an emergency tent, I'd probably get this.
Yeah, probably
Actually,
go on my wish list.
I don't know if it's a. I'd have to go out and check and confirm it, but I either got a sleeping bag or I got a tent. I'm actually curious now. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Running
Right.
out.
Along with a shelter is a good thermal blanket. Is a good thing to have because unless you can get up off the ground will sap your heat like nothing.
Yeah. If you're stuck in the woods kind of deal, you can take pine boughs and stuff and make a nice cushiony bed
Mm-hmm.
to keep you up off the ground, and it'll keep you nice and warm. Snow's even, as much as you think of snow being ice cold, snow's actually a good insulator. You could pack a bunch of snow underneath and then put a blanket or something that's pine boughs and stuff like that on top of that. It'll even create a better barrier that way. That's why the Eskimos and stuff use that to build their houses. 1 inch of snow actually holds an R1 value, insulation value. You know how your house insulation is usually like R19 for every inch. So like 1 inch of snow will insulate 1 degree of temperature. So like if you've got a 10-inch thick dome, like an igloo built, essentially it'll be roughly 10 degrees warmer inside than it would be outside, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Because snow does actually have an R value for insulation. So you could do leaves and pine boughs and snow and have a decent insulation from the ground. But yeah, the ground will definitely sap away.
Any way you can keep yourself something between you and the ground, do so.
Yes.
Because that's something that people don't think about. It's like, oh, I'll just sleep on the ground. It's like, unless you got something
And,
between you and the dirt,
yeah,
not recommended.
and wool, used wool,
Hmm.
because wool will keep you warm even if it is soaking wet.
Oh yes.
I love wool. Like in the wintertime, I wear wool socks to keep my feet warm. And a lot of the issues, something I learned as a kid in Civil Air Patrol is wear a pair of nylon dress socks against your feet and then your wool socks, because the wool will keep your feet so warm they will sweat, and then the moisture will give you blisters if you're out walking around and running around a lot. But the nylon dress socks keep that moisture away from your skin, so it cuts down on your
mm,
uh, blister and stuff like that.
yeah.
Never knew that about the nylon socks, but good to know. Thank you.
One thing to know in regards to the cold is avoid sweating. Actually, do your best to avoid sweating in cold climates, because
So,
it'll actually sap your heat far quicker if you dress too warmly.
it's a survival blanket, is what I've got out in the car,
Oh, nice.
and this is something I got at that liquidation warehouse. So I paid less than $6 for it.
Um, Another thing to have if you're expecting colder climates is having heat packs.
Yes, your
Those can
hand
be
warmers, they will help.
heat packs, hand warmers. Definitely a good thing to have. A good trench shovel.
Again, most of this stuff, really good idea to go to a Army Navy surplus,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't like. I, I was scrolling down. I have to share this one. Holy shit! Look at this. Tell me how gimmicky this is.
Um, some of it, yes. Some of it,
Why?
don't worry about screwdrivers.
It's just like why?
Screwdrivers in a survival situation, no need.
Pointless.
Avoid anything that needs a screwdriver if possible. However, that being said,
The
so
pocket knife, the fire starter, the
hatchet and
cutters,
shovel
the axe, and the shovel.
depends on the
Which,
quality. Could be pretty decent and good.
and it looks like you've got 3 extenders
Mm-hmm.
that you can use with it too.
Yeah, get a nice little pole axe or good sized
Yeah,
shovel out of it.
yeah. There you go. It can make the shovel up to 41 inches, or the axe 31 and a half.
Mm.
So you've got almost a 4-foot shovel, give or take, about 3.5 foot,
Mm-hmm.
or a almost 3-foot axe.
Yeah, about 2.5.
Just the modularity of being able to take those pieces off and screw them onto other pieces almost makes that worth it. Almost worth being $90.
High carbon steel actually isn't a bad material that stuff's made out of. Actually, prefer aluminum, good quality aluminum.
Again, you might be able to find something a little bit better at the surplus store,
Mm-hmm.
or a little bit more reliable. The shovel looks like it can go anywhere from 45, 90 to 180 degree angle.
Mm-hmm. So could you be used as like a plow of sorts?
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, a good trench shovel be good to have. A good
Here's
how to
a
say a handsaw, not handsaw, but like a chains pole saw. No, not pole saw. Oh, what is it? Like rope
not
saw?
bracelet saw, I assume.
No, the rope saw. Like where you have like the two handles in your hand and you move them back and forth.
Yeah, like what you'd get out of a paracord bracelet.
Yeah.
which I actually have one of those that has that in it. I don't know where it is. It's around my apartment somewhere. Back to the water filtration. I just found a $45, $46 gravity fed water system that holds about 6 liters. And it's got this little
Mm-hmm.
water straw. Jan, you leave Jesse alone. Dog's chasing the cat.
Question I have is how compact that is when not filled. That's going to be my
It's
question.
pretty compact. Depends on how tight you can roll it, I guess.
Because that's another thing to keep in mind with survival packs is
Yeah.
space is the more compact you can get things, the better it is.
Yeah, like that soda can tent.
Yeah, that's to get a survival tent that small, really good.
Now, will you be able to get it back that small? That's gonna test your skills.
It depends on how patient you are. Oh, tourniquet.
Yeah, 2 of them.
To have something like a lighter, I would say okay.
I think this could be fun. The fire fiber ignite prepared.
A
It's
little.
putty.
That looks cool. It's similar to what you would find for fondue. A good at home, this is something you could actually DIY, is if you take the corrugated cardboard, put them into like long 1 inch wide strips, and then put them inside, wind them up, cut a aluminum can for like beans or whatever you can, about 2 inches high or an inch and a half high, just enough to give a good lip over the corrugated cardboard. Or even a soda can actually would do well for this. Take the corrugated cardboard, put it into a spiral, and then melt wax and pour it over the corrugated cardboard, and you'll actually get some really good long fire starter.
Yeah. Another thing you can do if you've got excess wax is take any little pieces of scrap wood that are all dried out. If you melt it in a pot, the wax in a pot, and then take your little chunks and soak them, let them sit in the warm melted wax. You'll notice it bubble, and the wax will actually penetrate into the wood, and you're essentially creating synthetic fat wood like you would find on dead pine trees and such.
Mm-hmm. Great kindling.
So I found a 72-hour emergency food supply survival kit, and I'm just laughing at one of these pictures on it. It says boil, simmer, and serve.
Avoid.
And it's got a guy in the kitchen.
When it comes to survival, avoid anything that needs to be cooked in a container. I mean, an MRE comes with everything it needs to cook. Just add water.
And it comes with, as long as you're getting the right one, it comes with the heating element.
Mm-hmm. But as far as the need for like a pot or pan or anything like that, avoid it. I mean, you can get the little like old military little ration kits that can actually withstand a small fire temperature and be used to cook.
Found some hand cranked solar powered flashlights. That would be a good flashlight to put in there.
Mm-hmm. Anything that can be like hand operated, solar power, probably not going to last you too long. But anything that can be like hand cranked is definitely a good plus if it's compact enough. That's an interesting one.
cord.
Oh, can never have too much 550. Well, you could have too much 550 cord, but 550 cord, hands down,
Yeah, that's the
The
shit.
biggest
give you a
issue I
bundle.
can the biggest issue I can say when it comes to hand crank stuff, though, you're also got to remember, in the survival situation, you have so many calories that you have prepared. Anytime you're cranking something for a flashlight, a radio, you got to remember you're burning those calories
Mm-hmm.
that you could be using for, whether it be foraging or making your way to rescue kind of deal. You got to remember you're burning calories with the hand crank stuff, so you want to conserve but still have what you need.
Oh my lord, do they seriously have that on that website?
What you seeing?
That vest.
Oh,
That's an airsoft vest, people. I'm sorry, I have that vest. It's an air. It's best used for airsoft. Oh my
nice.
god.
I was actually caught by this next to it, the preloaded wire stapler for first aid.
Oh, interesting.
That's actually what got my attention. I looked at the vessel. I was like, "What's that doing there?" Ooh, skin stapler.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Not that
this
easy
would
to
be a
use.
good.
Yeah, that's a good compass. But even then, go to
So
your military surplus store, get the old.
yeah, you can get the good old trustworthy one that we used.
Mm-hmm.
Survival garden. Come on, really? Don't don't put seeds in your survival kit.
Yeah, no,
If you're gonna be out there long enough for seeds to grow,
you're no longer in survival. You're just homestaying at that point.
yes.
A good thermal tarp.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh look, another gimmick survival kit.
I'm done with gimmick kits. Um, something that we haven't talked about though is gloves. A good pair of gloves
Right.
to have for handling foliage and stuff like that. And here's actually something else that I would actually recommend: having small, like nature books of the area that you know you're going to be in before you even end up in that situation. Something that talks about like the foliage, fauna of the area, things like that. Um, that's cool. Would not recommend it. Cool
I'm
first.
just captivated by it. It's just stick in, walk the fuck away. It's like, no, don't do that.
Mm-hmm. For those who are curious, we're looking at a electronic water filtration pump that literally a person sticks into this black murky water, walks away after turning it on, and it pumps what appears to be clean water.
Clear water.
It's
I'm gonna say
clear
clear.
water.
I'm not gonna say clean. I'm gonna say clear.
Yeah, clear water. Which a Brita filter.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Put a Brita bottle,
Just the filter
Brita
itself.
water bottle.
Just the filter itself,
Would not be
actually.
I know I said no water bottles, but a Brita one would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't clean it all the way, but you wouldn't be drinking Flint, Michigan water.
Shots fired.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But a good, and of course,
I mean, you wouldn't be drinking Evian, but it certainly wouldn't be no.
and of course, one thing that we've skipped over is a good bag to carry all this. A good, durable, not too bulky bag.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a sea bag or a even a military backpack.
A rucksack.
Just something that will, and I'm not talking like school bag either.
No, you want a good camping bag is more than enough.
A good sized duffel would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Something you can carry on your back but doesn't necessarily need to be on the back.
And then, of course, for um, for those with, if you're going to be more than just yourself, of course, you're going to want to like double up on these, or have these that we're talking about are the basics. So a good knife, water purifying. If you can't get your hands on the water purifying stuff, if you can get your hands on emergency water packs, then by all means do so. Um, but definitely try to get like the life straws, or what was the other one that you were saying, Vodkabur?
Sawyer,
Sawyer.
Sawayer.
Mm-hmm.
They have all little ones for like $20, all the way up to a full big like full house system. They have ones that screw right on to like a 2 liter bottle and everything like that. And they're good for like 100,000 gallons.
Oh, I actually saw something that's a really good to have: a small container of those matches, the storm matches.
I
A
thought that was
small
cord for some reason. Not gonna lie.
a small container of like waterproof matches is always good to have. You can get them less
Yeah,
than $10.
kind of confused about the red.
The red is what allows it to
Burn or
withstand
something.
water. I think it's like magnesium or something is in there, or something that's a good high burning fuel source that allows it to resist water and high winds. Um, but yeah, they look like chamoy sticks for those who know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had a mangonada. But a good knife, a trench shovel of sorts
Might
would
actually
be
be good.
good.
I would not consider this a gimmick one.
Some of it, very
Okay,
very little.
the screwdrivers and the saber card, yes. The
That little
flashlight,
flashlight too.
that little key pen flashlight. Those are the only three. And well, okay, maybe the water bottle clip too. Now that I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it, yeah, okay. The tack pen could be useful.
If you got to
That little
break into
small
glass,
flashlight would be good.
the whistle's always good to have.
I was gonna say I wasn't sure if that was a whistle or it was supposed to be a.
It's a survival whistle.
Then you've got your pocket knife, a paracord bracelet,
With compass and
and a
whistle.
fire starter.
Yeah, a fire starter is definitely good to have because you never know what. And practice with a fire starter.
But
I cannot stress how much that is
other than
something.
one, two, three, four things out of this. How many items we got in here? Looks like it's a 15-piece kit.
Anytime I'm starting a fire at the house, I try and use
Say about
a fire starter like my ferro rod or whatever. Other than that,
Also
just at least for the first time, at least once a month.
Mhm.
That way, I have the practice, and believe me, I mean, I have a propane torch and stuff that I use to start fires, but I at least once a month make sure I use my ferro rod or like the cotton ball things that I used, just so that I remain in practice on using them.
Yeah, because eventually those lighters and everything, they run out of fuel. What are you going to do then?
Or you don't have it on you.
That too.
I'm laughing at this boo-boo kit they have. One Band-Aid, 2 alcohol pads, 1 gauze pad.
I feel as though that's not the exact amount that they have in there. They just have that to show like these are in here. Not so much of this amount is in here.
Looking a little bit deeper into it. Yeah.
Oh wow, no, yeah, no, that's oh my
1 gauze
god.
swab, and 2 alcohol pad.
Oh no, enough for a little itty bitty scratch. Oh no.
That's not even a
Oh
boo-boo
my
kit.
god, that's
What the
Oh
fuck?
my god. I mean, at least it's got a emergency blanket, quote unquote.
Now, again, I think I'd do better with the
Uh,
survival blanket I've got out in my car
hmm.
than that.
Um. Yeah, things to a good knife,
The
trench
flashlight, the
shovel,
bracelet, the
flashlight.
whistle, the fire starter, the tack pen. I don't know if I'd call that a folding military knife.
Definitely would not call
That
that a
would be good.
folding military knife.
So
Oh,
those
Never
for
will you find a folding knife in
basically
military issue stuff.
15-piece kit would be good.
I'm gonna say this for those who are listening. Be advised when you hear anything that says military grade on it.
Don't trust it.
I laugh because the military, yeah, they want good quality, but they look for the cheapest
Made by the
contract
lowest bidder.
made by the lowest bidder with with what meets the standards.
There's a difference between mil spec and mil standard. Mil spec is okay. Mil grade, no.
Yeah, like OtterBoxes, good phone cases. I will give them that. They are good phone cases. But when I see that they have like military grade protection, I'm like,
That
oh
that is
Lord.
a good old buzzword to get people to buy shit. This is military
Mm-hmm.
grade. Oh, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yep.
no, you don't.
I look at the standards it's built to. Like my Pelican case even has stamped right on the outside, mil standard 810G. Mil spec is one thing, but I'm not going to care if it says military grade. Who cares? That could be a hunk of plastic that breaks the first time you use it.
Mm-hmm.
But my Pelican case, it's made Kevlar and high impact plastic, and it's waterproof. So, and it's got the standard. You can look up the specs from that number that's stamped right on the front of the case and see what specs and standards it meets. So
Oh,
that's the difference in my opinion.
there's
I,
a there's a
I found
nice. You found the bag.
I found the bag.
Nice. Actually, funny enough, because I know me and Kabor were talking about should we have to ever need to do a survival bug out situation, we would basically let our dogs loose. But uh, seeing that they're a dog saddlebag for
That
carrying
that would be a
equipment.
good bug out bag for a. I don't know what they consider medium,
Medium
but
is usually around
Pitbull size.
50, yeah, around 50 to 70 pounds ish, if I
Yeah,
remember right.
my dog's right at that 45 to 50 pound.
Yeah,
yeah. And
Leo, oh yeah, he'd be able to carry this. He's full blooded German Shepherd.
mm-hmm.
yeah, and when we were talking about letting the dogs loose, I didn't. It's not every scenario. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm letting
Yeah.
the dogs loose. If the need arose where they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
hinder us more than help us, they're going.
Yeah.
They are
Even
our
if it means I have to put them down before I leave.
Mm-hmm.
obviously that'll be a last ditch option.
Yeah. That hand pump though was actually a pretty.
Let me go back.
Yeah, it's definitely a last ditch. Like I don't want to do it, but if the need arose, I could do it.
Okay, you're okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that would be a good option for.
Yeah, and it looks fairly compact too. At 12
Since
ounce, 12
about
ounce.
12 to 13 ounces.
Product I mentioned 3.5 long, 4.06 wide, 7.28 inches high. Yeah, that's.
So it weighs just under a pound because 16 ounces is a pound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a one ultra filter, a carbon filter, a pre filter, a backwash syringe. Not sure how that works, but okay. A water cup, a inlet hose, outlet hose, and a carrying case to hold it in. All for the convenient price of $70.
My question is how easy is it to get replacement filters?
Yeah.
Probably non-existent.
If you click on it and go down, you might be able to see extras. Um, if you are able to carry an axe.
Kit here, 335 piece first aid. But is it actually first aid or is it a boo boo kit?
Probably a boo. Hey, it actually has trauma shears.
9 times out of 10, it's going to be a boo-boo kit. No matter if it's called a first aid kit. If you want something that's not a boo-boo kit, you got to look for a trauma kit.
Now, one thing
That's
I will
what's going to
say.
include the big stuff.
One thing I will say that has this one going for it is that it says OSHA compliant boo boo kit. So it's a bit on the higher end.
Up in the title.
Yeah, if it meets the OSHA requirements, it's definitely going to be better than your standard run-of-the-mill first aid kit you're going to find somewhere that's essentially a glorified boo-boo kit. I bought a big Johnson & Johnson first aid kit from like Target, and it's just Band-Aids and alcohol pads and like a couple Benadryl tablets and stuff like that, and it's essentially a boo-boo kit for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
This almost looks like something you would find at work, minus a few things. Like those Syntas
Which
aid
ones?
stations. Which I actually thought about contacting them to see what they would supply as a first aid kit. They got some good stuff in their things.
A good place to look for med kits and stuff is going to be My Medic. They have all the way down from a little vacuum sealed, like a little hiking kit that has like moleskins for blisters and stuff like that, all the way up to a full, like it's like $500, but it's a full bag. It's a trauma kit for like up to 15 people, and you can use your HSAs to buy stuff from them.
Why is this in the options of survival?
For what? Because it's a small portable camp stove. They actually breaks down fairly small.
Okay, I didn't think that was a breakdown thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see that now right here. That could be all right.
It's
It's gonna add weight to your pack, but
they have smaller ones. I mean, that's one that I would say would allow you to have a good fire to try to keep yourself
8
warm.
by 8 inch by 10 inch. So all right, it's smaller than what I thought it was gonna be. Much smaller than what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would not add too much weight. That might be a good thing to have. It would definitely keep your fire in one place, and you wouldn't have to worry about too much spread.
Mm-hmm. It was actually a little pot pan kit. If you're going to have cooking stuff, I advise against it for survival purposes. But if you're, what in the world?
You saw the Seaburn mask, didn't you?
I mean, if you're expecting toxicity, but I think we're mostly talking about standard survival, not.
If you're going against the chemical, biological, radioactive, and nuclear, yeah, that's more than a bug out bag at that point.
Oh no, that's a particularly specific bug out bag.
Yeah,
that's doomsday prepper territory right there. Which
yes, it is. Holy shit, 230. I just saw the price tag on it. $233.
I will say that it's cool that it comes with a canteen. I can hook up.
That was actually what caught my eye was the canteen.
Mm-hmm. Got a little sippy straw.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a doomsday bag. That's not a survival bag.
Yeah, that's a doomsday prepper, and there is a difference between doomsday prepper and survival.
Yes. Now this solar charge power bank, hit or miss on whether you actually want that. It's dependent on your needs. I would say don't keep it in your car. Yeah, don't keep that in your car on your dash.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way on that one.
Come back with a missing window?
No. the internal battery couldn't stand the heat from the sun.
Yes.
Oh, look at that, Baofeng ham radios.
Yeah, you don't want to leave anything majorly electronic in your car in the hot summer because it can reach excess of 140 degrees
Oh yeah.
in your car. And I learned the hard way. I had a PLA bracket I printed to mount in my Subaru that I had for my radio, and I come back and it had separated because it got warm and soft. So the layers, couple of the layers separated, started to fall. I'm like, oh no, because it got too hot in the car. Yeah, and like lithium ion and the lithium polymer batteries do not like heat, and you do not want those to catch fire because they will let your car burn. They will not try and put it out because it's almost impossible to put out a lithium fire.
Yeah, look at Teslas.
All right. So on the note of the radios, I think y'all were talking about that when I joined in before we started this.
I will leave that to Vod
come up in
Kapur.
my search here. We got the Baofeng UV5R 3rd gen ham radio.
It looks like it's a two-way radio, regular 8-watt dual band two-way radio.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is technically. It's not. I mean, all radios are two-way radios, but the Baofengs do operate on amateur frequency,
Destination on your right.
and MERS and FRS and GMRS. So you can use them on, like I said, FRS, GMRS, and MERS without a license. Technically, if somebody caught you doing it or could file a complaint, you could get in trouble because they're not type compliant for those radio services.
Yeah,
because they're too high a power.
Some of these some ham radios do require you to have a license to operate on those channels.
Well, you can listen with them all you want. It's transmitting that causes the problem, and usually only if you're a dick about it will somebody file a complaint. But you can use them. But if, say, somebody from the FCC was on you walking around the edges of your property and saw you use them and figured out you were using them on those frequencies, they can take them because they run on too much. They put out too much power, and the antennas are removable. FRS and GMRS require non-removable antennas to be type compliant. But I use them all the time on my farm with my kids.
I would hope they wouldn't cause much of a stink, but just be aware of that.
Yes, correct. Like I said, you can look up online the MURS frequencies, which is the ones that you're going to see the least trouble with because the radios are type compliant for MURS. And they don't require a license, but there's only like 4 frequencies in that system that they are capable of, and that's good practice if you don't have a license yet or you don't plan on getting a license, but you can still use them around without causing problems. Then they're a good entry level. Now they're not waterproof. They are not like IP67 rated or anything like that. So you drop them, you could potentially easily break them. But they're going to be durable enough for standard entry-level use. If you want something that's waterproof and dust-proof and drop-proof, that kind of deal, you're going to look into something a little more up there, like some of the TYTs or a Yaesu handheld. But they also get way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's a good tackle box for a survival kit. It actually has a tackle.
Oh, do keep in mind with fishing line, be mindful of your hands using that as your
something to be able to put it on, even one of those compact ones.
Honestly, a stick. A stick will do plenty. If you have a good pair of gloves. As I said, have a good pair of gloves in your survival kit. Wrap the
don't
fishing
try to
line.
hit your hand with your fishing line.
Yeah, depending on your fishing line, you may end up losing it entirely from amputation.
Yeah, especially if you hook something.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just wrap it around a stick a good couple times. Hold on real tight.
Fucking saber cards. Hell no.
Especially those ones that look like you just like pop out what you need.
Yeah.
Avoid things that are too overly multifunctional.
So I found another filter kit. This one's actually less than $40, and it's a hand pump one.
Up to 1,000 water bottles.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Does it have an option for buying multiple filters? Or wait, are those
not a filter? It's tablets.
Oh, tablets. So that'd be something that I would recommend. Yeah, definitely get something that's able to have either clean the filter out, that's able to clean and reuse the filter, or something that's easily able to get a new filter to replace once you get into a situation where you're no longer needing it. But space saving, you want stuff that can easily be compact, easy to carry, lightweight. And then another thing is, keep in mind, when it comes to survival, most people think, oh, I'm going to try and get myself out of the situation. Depending on where you're at, you're actually better off staying wherever it is you are versus trying to
hike your way out of the forest.
Yeah, hike your way out of the situation.
Especially if people know that you were supposed to be at that location,
mm-hmm.
Stay there.
Or in the area.
One of the first places they're going to look.
Mm-hmm. Oh, tape, duct tape, good high-end duct tape situation. Duct tape, Gorilla Tape.
Honestly, just regular duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make a boat out of regular duct tape, you're not changing my mind. I don't know if you ever watched them, but yes. Mythbusters actually made a duct tape boat.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot of duct tape, but they did it.
It also works great for bandaging situations. Not the greatest to stop infection kind of deal.
Greatest,
but it seals up.
I mean, I'd even say add a roll of electrical tape for that one, because that will actually get you the tension for pressure.
Yep. That's working construction. That's what we did. We always had a roll of electrical tape in our tool belt, and we always kept a couple extra napkins, because if you cut yourself using a utility knife cutting something or something dumb like that, you put a napkin on it and wrap it in electrical tape and keep working.
Yep.
Honest, when I gave my finger the circumcision, first thing I did was grab a piece of paper towel and some tape.
Yep.
At least to stop the bleeding. Mm-hmm. That was the whole point.
Yep. Control the bleeding.
Oh, we got Beskar.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, Lord. It's a portable hand warmer.
Yeah, but it's going to have to be charged. That's the downside.
Yeah. Oh, don't be afraid of going through a old school method such as a bow fire starter.
Yeah.
Learning multiple ways to start fires is something I highly recommend people do, because as great as like magnesium sticks and fire striker sticks are, not always do they work. They do still have their faulty points too.
Apparently I have reached the last page of survival stuff.
Hmm. Um, but yeah, a pack of glow sticks can help for not necessarily you seeing things, but for people to see you. Because when you're out in the dark and you see a light of any kind out in the distance, it catches one's attention easily.
This would be the one point where you have a flashlight that can see up a cockroach's ass from 6 miles away. Would be a good thing.
Oh Lord, I've seen. Have you seen those flashlights that are like your standard size, but like illuminates like your entire city block, as if it was middle of the day?
Yes,
Good,
yes, I do.
good
I've
Lord,
got some Milwaukee tool lights that will do that.
good Lord. I see those those videos and whatnot. I'm like, this cannot be real.
They are.
Oh no, I know they are, but it's like I'm pretty sure somebody complained about you making this video and be like, who turned on the sun? And be mindful with some of those high-end battery flashlights; they can actually burn
Who
through
turned on the
stuff.
sun?
But I've seen some of those high-powered flashlights that they burn. They will actually burn through materials. So if you're not careful, you may start a fire in the woods you did not intend to do.
The one time where you want the cockroach up the ass from 6 miles away flashlight, your survival bag.
Mm-hmm.
I would not complain by seeing that in a bag.
No. If you got the money for that, by all means, go for it. I guarantee someone's going to be, like a park ranger or someone is going to be like,
wait a minute, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Why am I seeing the sun?
do not have a laser pointer.
No. That honestly, that's not even going to do you any good, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, hush. Don't you talk back to me, dog. Again, with the rations, I would not recommend anything like has the 30 servings
Mm-hmm.
that you find on Amazon or something.
Well, it depends
Just
on
chips.
what kind of servings they are.
Honestly, I'd say just put some of those ration crackers.
Mm.
I know that's the wrong term, but
Good old hardtack.
butter and cheese and
A lot
those
of this.
flavor
Yeah, something
crackers
that's
at Walmart.
shelf stable that you don't have to worry about rotating very often, like I do with my Vienna sausages. Though, to be fair, we go through Vienna sausages like they're candy because my youngest, sometimes that's the only meat he will eat. He's like, "Can I have some baby hot dogs?" We literally buy them by the case at Sam's Club.
Nice.
So
Nice. I mean, hey, at least he's getting something.
Right.
If you'd like, you can research. Because, funny enough, if you want to know the experts of survival, honestly, Shinobi, the ninjas of Japan, actually have a lot of information, and this is like preserved information too, that they would have small meal pellets that gave you your daily caloric intake that they would hand make. So, and you can find these recipes to make them yourself.
Found a poncho liner whoopee for about $48 on U.S. Patriot Tactical.
It's not bad.
I figured I'd get off of Amazon as soon as I went through their entire thing.
Oh, map markers. Okay. If you can, definitely try to get before you go out in any situation where you might end up having to do survival. Have a map of the area, because and don't rely on your cell phone. whatever you do, do not rely on your cell phone for anything in a survival situation. Consider that a piece of plastic and metal and isn't going to do you any good.
Yeah, and you can download and print maps from the USGS website. They give you elevation, topographical, you name it, roads, anything. You can download it for free.
Learn how to read your maps too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. 5-star gear meals ready to eat.
Gear meals, what? Where are you seeing that?
To the left of the poncho.
And that doesn't say gear. Oh, gear meals. I heard deer, like venison.
But yeah, in regards to what I was saying earlier, though, they have booklets that you can get your hands on for like local areas, wildlife, and foliage. Definitely look into getting those. Have that as part of your survival bag. They can actually help in a pinch with, is this edible? Is this an edible plant or not? What to do with certain insects or reptiles of the slithery kind. Having those and actually reading and learning them can truly save your life in survival situations. Now, we have been talking a lot in regards to land survival. Another thing to keep in mind is water survival. If you're ever in a situation of like open water and whatnot, if you're out in the middle of the ocean, it's going to be hard, but salt water is not your friend whatsoever. It'll actually do you more harm than good. So try to avoid drinking it to the best you can. I know that saying that if you're in open water and whatnot is hard to say or hard to do, but it'll actually dehydrate you more, a lot quicker than if you don't drink the water. And of course, when I say these things, I'm talking about like if you had a raft or something to keep yourself out of the water type situation. I don't know, something happened to your boat and you're stuck adrift. It's a lot different playing field that is going to need a whole different mindset and praying that you have with you. Having some sunblock in your
Alright,
kit.
I'm back for a minute.
Having some sunblock for those of lighter skin tones would be something good to have. Just a small container of like SPF 100 or whatever would be good to have as well.
Yeah, my wife has to keep sunblock because she burns pretty easy. Me, on the other hand, with a lot of Native American in me, I have zero issues. I haven't been sunburned since I was probably 7 years old.
Easily, but I do burn.
Mm-hmm. And little medical tidbit is for those who are darker skinned, should try to get more sun than what one thinks. Because, and this is something I learned, vitamin D deficiency is actually higher in those with darker skin tones than those of lighter, because of the
Yeah.
fact that the darker skin tones reflect the light more.
Yeah, I don't usually have that problem because I'm out in the sun all the time. For between growing up on a farm and then out slinging packages,
Mm-hmm.
sun exposure is not a problem for me.
Lucky you.
Can't say the same working in manufacturing. Oh, actually, here's a good idea for fishing purposes. The old kite handles, the ones that have like the two handles for the kites that you can like do little like spinny tricks and whatnot. Having one of those handles is actually a good idea to have for holding your fishing line and whatnot. That you can cast out and then wrap up without hurting your hand. Holy crap. 14-inch industrial grade glow sticks. It's a big ass
I
glow
would trust
stick.
glow stick. Chem stick would still be a better bet.
Oh yeah, the chem stick's gonna last you longer. But as I said, a glow stick is better than nothing because once again, it's so others can spot you, not you spot them.
Yeah.
You're never going to use a glow stick in a survival situation to be seeing something. You're always going to be using it to be seen. So others can spot you. Yeah, a good fire starter, some glow sticks, a good boo-boo kit. And I mean a good boo-boo kit. Trench shovel, an axe would be good. A good quality knife. I'll be honest, I wouldn't even say a folding knife, really, unless you're going to use it just for cutting ropes.
No, any kind of survival knife, you're going to want something that's fixed blade with a heavy spine for batoning and splitting wood and stuff like that. The one I have is a Gerber. It comes with a ferro rod built into it, and it's got the pommel's actually ribbed and or serrated, kind of like a hammerhead would be for pounding in like that. And it's like only like $40, and the total length is probably 8 inches, and it's like probably a 4.5-inch blade, and it's a heavy spine. It's a good survival knife. From what I've used for it, it's pretty heavy duty in all the reviews I've seen on it. My father-in-law actually got it for me for Christmas this past year. So, but I mean, get something good, fixed blade with a heavy spine for survival.
If you can't have something that's like a hatchet.
Right. Yeah. Like I mean, I have a small hatchet that I carry in on my pack as well too. So, and then a wire saw.
As far as a good knife goes, something to have as an idea, like sort of in like the back of your head for multi-function purposes, is combining with the paracord and a stick to make a spear of sorts for whether it be fishing or just defense in general. Because quite honestly, one of the best tools of defense in history is the spear. The spear.
Bayonets.
Yeah, a bayonet is basically turning your freedom seed dispenser into a spear. Yeah, a spear in history is one of the most easy to produce weapons and was able to train peasants real simple and easy. Point this way, thrust, go.
Pointy end goes in opponent.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I'm actually looking into getting one to have and seeing what the laws are in regards to carrying one, even if it's a short spear. Because it is such a, for lack of a better term, it is a fairly versatile device. But having a knife that can also be converted into a spear tip is definitely one.
That's kind of why I was saying the bayonets, because you can at least take that and add it onto a stick of some kind, even if it's not on a Freedom Seed dispenser.
Mm-hmm. If you can, add just for kindling purposes. If you can't get anything that's like how I said earlier, the corrugated cardboard with wax or anything like that, as far as tinder goes, having some burlap rope or just small patches of burlap sacks would be good to have in a small little, making a small little tinder box of sorts. If you have multiple people, you can think about, you're going to need to think about more things in regards to possible trauma kit versus your standard medical kit versus your normal boo-boo kit. Having a good little handsaw that's like a cord with two rings that you can like move back and forth, wrapping around small pieces of branches, gloves, small tackle box for fishing equipment, good boo-boo medical first aid kit with actual trauma shears, a poncho raincoat that is of decent quality. Going through to say what would be the list of recommended items: a bundle of paracord, 550 paracord or better, be good. A emergency tent, emergency blanket as well. Good quality gloves, I said. Avoid gimmicks. Avoid gimmick stuff.
If it doesn't sit, like the screwdrivers, you're not gonna need those.
Yeah, avoid. I mean, sometimes some trench shovels may need it, but try to avoid those ones if you can. A good handsaw, like basically it's the chain of a chainsaw with two straps on the side at the end of them, are pretty decent for cutting through small tree branches and whatnot to get you some kindling and wood. Avoid overly multi-tooled items. I cannot stress that enough. That is gimmicky and waste in survival situations.
People will buy it because it says survival.
Yeah, just because it says survival doesn't make it survival.
Something else you might want to think about for adding in for the fire purposes, I would limit the amount that you use per use, but dryer lint.
Mm-hmm.
If you use too much, it's gonna cause a flash fire anyways, just because of the nature of dryer lint.
Mm-hmm.
But it will at least help start a fire quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say about the size of a cotton ball
Yeah, no more
would
than
be
that.
good. Anything more than that, you're running into the danger of big flash fire, and that bad.
Hmm.
That very bad.
Now, I will say, in regards to the over multi-tooled, if you're going to add something that's got like the screwdrivers and whatnot to it, a simple, good quality multi-tool is all you're going to need. You're not needing anything over complicated more than that. Something that's foldable with pliers, small knife, things of that, like your standard what you think of when you think of a multi-tool. That's all you really need. You don't need these 1,000 different things that's all have a screwdriver or tack card or whatever it is. Just one simple multi-tool and you're good. I would honestly say, if you're going to have a hatchet, have a dedicated hatchet. Something that's an axe of sorts. Water container, I recommend a canteen or a hydration bladder for carrying it for your water purposes. Um, if you have more people in your party, probably look into something that can, when you get to a stationary place near water, and always be looking for water. I cannot stress that enough. In a survival situation, is try one of the first things you should do is find water, a good source of clean water, or at least as clean as possible. Avoid stagnant water. Cannot stress that enough. Stagnant water is toxic water. It's polluted. Um, Anything else y'all can think of?
I don't think so. I think we've pretty much beaten the topic.
Oh, and a good quality backpack to carry it all in, or a
Yeah.
bag of sorts. Something that can help evenly distribute the weight on your shoulders and everything.
Not your standard school backpack, but
Mm.
really don't need a rucksack either.
I mean, if you want to spend the money, the quote unquote military style of bags, I know 511 Tactical has some good ones for a fair, decent price. Once again, not sponsored.
Nope. I think we're pretty much done for today.
Yeah. Vod Kabur, you got any last minutes tips?
Um, Not really. And me.
Oop. Robot-y.
Pretty much got it covered from my end as far as I can think.
Alrighty.
So, topic for next week is going to be armor.
And I've actually got an idea for that one, because a lot of what we've talked about has mostly been what is not armor. I think we should dive into like how to actually use what is considered armor material and what is armor.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we actually have a bit of a list that we can go through now for the next coming of episodes.
Yep,
So,
that's where I'm getting that from, is that poll that I put out.
mm-hmm. Yeah. With that being said, thank y'all for joining us. A lot of what we talk about, we do post on in the Discord server, so check us out on our link tree or scan the QR code there in the corner of the video. Thank y'all for joining us on the Mendoa podcast, religious movement. We hope to see y'all next time, and until then, I am Zel Namore. Ibikruni, this is the way.
And this is Cadus. Nidumish Nikan. Ibek Rooney.